What's up, everybody? I have a second video for my YouTube channel. I had a lot of people come to me asking me about the whole how sight reading works, how reading sheet music works, and I want to do like a really quick crash course. This is for people who are kind of already familiar with how the keyboard works in terms of how to find the keys in the keyboard. So if you are, this video is for you. If not, I would suggest you stick around for another video I can upload regarding how to navigate through the keyboard. So in the meantime, obviously you know where C is on the keyboard, and the way sheet music works is that each note that is on this staff here is the lines and spaces. So that setup with the lines and spaces is called the staff, and that's the treble clef, which I'm sure you already know. But what happens is each note is assigned to a particular line or a particular space on the staff. So for example, if you see this note, which is F, you would have to play F on the keyboard. So the way it works is you have this middle C here, which is on this what we call a legend line. And a legend line is an imaginary line that disappears whenever it's not needed. So this next note up is D. That line will disappear when you play or when D shows up. So middle C is basically the C that is closest to the center of your keyboard. So whether or not you have a 61 key, 76 key, 88 key, whatever C is closest to the center of your keyboard, that's middle C. So what this means is this particular C here on this staff is assigned to that particular C on the keyboard. And the good thing about these notes is that they don't really change. So this will always be, this space will always be C, this line will always be B. So you won't have to worry about them, you know, switching around, at least for the treble clef notes. For those who also don't know, when it comes to piano, you have two staffs. You have the treble clef staff, and then you have what's called the bass clef staff, or the top staff and the bottom staff. So the top staff generally is for the right hand, so the notes that are on the top staff, the right hand plays, and the notes that are on the bottom staff, the left hand plays. I just wanted to throw that out there. So I have this little layout here. So the way the notes go is that they come in a pattern of line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, so on and so forth. So say for instance this line is D, sorry, this line is C, the next space above it is D, the next line, which is that first official line of the staff, the treble clef staff, is E, and it goes space is the F, the line above that is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth. So there's two ways you kind of memorize how to find these notes. You can do it the long way where you have to count your way up to whatever note you're trying to find. Or we have the sentencing system, which you're probably familiar with. They probably taught you in like 3rd grade or something. But the way the notes go is we break it up into lines and spaces. So the lines go in the pattern of E, G, B, D, and F. And the sentence we use is every good boy does fine. You might find every good boy deserves fudge or some other sentence that they probably use in school, you know, whatever works. So basically what that means is if you're dealing with a note that's on a line, for example, this one, if you're trying to find out what that note is, you would have to use every good boy does fine and start from the bottom and count your way up. So every is that first line, and then good would be that second line. So that's how you know that that note is G. So that's kind of like that's a good way to really kind of figure it out. Another example is this note here is E because it's the first word, every. So every good boy does fine. So that's how you kind of figure out if the note was, say, on this top line here, you would use every good boy does fine. That's how you know it's F. For the spaces, it's conveniently spelled F-A-C-E. So the first space is F, the second one's A, then it goes C, then it goes E. So here, this note here we know is F because it's the first letter of the word face. And same thing, you would just start from the bottom, count your way up. So you go F-A-C-E, that first note is F. And another example is, say if you see a note that is on this space here, you would go F-A-C, and that's how you know it's C. So that's pretty much how you can navigate through the treble clef staff. There's a different sentencing system for the bass clef staff, but that's for a whole nother video. I wanted to kind of get you guys started with the whole sight reading process. So when it comes to actually sight reading, it's kind of like when you're in school and you learn how to spell out, you know, words, and you had to sound them out, and then you had to kind of build, you know, put the words together, and then, you know, how to read a sentence, and then you kind of just, you know, how to read a paragraph. And music is the same exact way. So you don't want to start out trying to, you know, read, you know, For Elise or, you know, some other song that's really, you know, more complicated. You want to kind of start out with something very, very simple. So this exercise here, which I actually have in my piano course, I'll talk about that in a second. This sight reading exercise starts out with steps. And what steps are is just going from one note to the very next note. So here, For example, you have C. Sorry, my hands are shaking. Let me just kind of set my, hopefully that will work. No, it didn't work. Okay. Here you have C. And then if you notice that the next note above C is D. So if a note goes up a step, then chances are you're going from C to D in this case, these two notes here. And then going another note, this note also goes up, but it goes a step up. So a step up from D would be E. The next note is going down, so you would just think a step down, which would go from E to D. And then it goes back up to E, it goes back up to F, goes back up to G. So my point is, what's going to happen is you're going to end up reading notes in forms of patterns as opposed to trying to memorize each individual note, even though you need to know what those notes are. But it'll be easier to kind of just read the pattern and see kind of what's going on. In this case, you would just know the directions the notes are going, and that will help you tremendously. So I hope that this helped get you out the door in terms of sight reading. And if you want more updates, more tutorials, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also teach, I have a link in my description box that talks about my piano course. You know, more information on what's actually included in the piano course, and and actually my email is also in that course. So if you want to email me if you have any questions, I will be sure to answer any questions that you may have about this course. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you soon.